Why? 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 Why?
That's the question we would like to have answered. Why? Because according to a United Nations report that came out in May of 2024, it mentioned that the Japanese anime industry earned $20 billion. But for some reason, anime studios are, based on the report, anime studios are saying that they cannot afford to raise animators' wages without going bankrupt.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
As suspicious as that may sound, the problem really is that your favorite anime, which will include a variety of merchandise that is under that anime, they fall under or is basically managed by committee members that may include people like TV stations, advertising agencies, and also investors. They make up that particular committee. Now, when it comes to the anime studios, I want to show you this interesting report when it comes to profits, because you would think that, okay, this anime came out, it may have been a successful anime, merchandise sell well, so these anime studios, who we could say really might be the backbone of making the anime, working hard on the anime, so to speak, you would think that they will get a significant portion of the profits that was made by that anime. But here's what this report basically said. A January 2024 report by the Japan Research Institute made observations noting that anime production studios own only 6% of the overseas sales revenue from their works and 16% of domestic sales.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So when it comes to making an anime, there's not really much profit these anime studios can work with. They are basically given a one-time production fee, given by the committee, which include, as we mentioned before, TV stations, advertisers, and investors as well. They are given a one-time production fee, and that anime studio has to work with that budget. So this naturally leads us to the question, how much do animators make? And this also leads us to another question that we'll have answered later on. How much do manga artists make? This answer was recently given at a New York Comic-Con panel of this year, but we will touch on that in a little bit. So it says entry-level animators earn an average of 1.5 million yen or US $10,000 per year, forcing, and rightfully so, many to leave the industry. And it's really a sad situation that these animators are in, because they had to choose between doing the job that they love and also doing a job that they may not love, but they have to make ends meet. And notice what it says here about this same United Nations report that was mentioned before early in the video. Note what it says about the rate of these animators leaving the industry. The study revealed alarmingly high turnover rates, with 25% of animators leaving within 4 years of joining the industry and 68% departing within 8 years. And that's why the UN report basically stated that there's something that needs to be done. And I'm sure many of you agreed with that UN report that something needs to be done, because if this is not dealt with properly, then the anime industry might just collapse. And we definitely do not want that to happen. But what about manga artists or mangaka salaries? What is the situation with that? Because that was, as we mentioned before, was recently revealed by Hiroyuki Watanabe, who is the editor of Sergeant Frog and Neon Genesis Evangelion. So, according to Watanabe, manga creators in Japan earn varying amounts per page based on their experience. However, on an average, a mangaka earned around 12,000 yen per page. So to break it down, newcomers 8,000 to 10,000 yen per page, which is $57 to $72 US. Average manga artists, as we mentioned before, 12,000 yen per page, which is $88 dollars US. And experienced professionals, 15,000 to 30,000 per page, which is to the equivalent of $110 to $217 US. He also shed some light into what happens when a manga volume sells. How much do these mangaka earn when it comes to sales of these volumes? For each 500 yen, which is equivalent to $4 US, copies sold in Japan, the creator earns a 10% royalty amounting to approximately 50 or 40 cents yen per copy. If a manga volume sells 1 million copies, the creator earns 50 million yen, around $334,860 US in royalties. But I'm sure you are fully aware of the situation that is going on with mangakas as well. Just as much as animators, they have to deal with their own issues as well, because you could understand, especially with those figures just mentioned, how much these mangakas hope and pray that their manga, the story that they tell, sells well, so that they could be able to put food on their tables for themselves or their families as well. And we know that there are so many sad cases of mangakas, especially Tokashi is one of them, of persons who have their health negatively affected by working long hours to create their work of art, so to speak. So we're seeing basically here that this whole, as much as we enjoy manga, as much as we enjoy anime, the reality is this system of how persons earn a living, especially animators and mangakas, the whole system really needs to change, because it really seems to me, what I am picking up from it, and probably you could mention it if you have a different opinion in the comments, that is really the people at the top are the ones getting all the money, and basically the laborers, the animators and the mangakas, sadly, are the ones who are just getting the dregs of the profits. So basically, I would love to hear your points on this interesting topic. How do you feel about what was just mentioned? Is there something that I missed out when it comes to explaining the situation with animators not receiving an increase in their wages? Again, as I always say, the comment section is for you to express your thoughts and your opinions. But speaking of animators, there was one Toei animator who expressed his disappointment in the One Piece remake announcement. So if you're interested in this topic, you can click on the video. But in order for you to access this video, you have to click on the subscribe button. So that's it. I'll go on.